You always start this part. Say something.
Man, y'all remember that Monica song? It's just one of them days.
Not at all.
Damn. Well, if you do, that's the next movie we're about to talk about. We're about to talk about an interesting movie that came out in January that's already available on release. King Germ, do what you do.
What's going on, everybody? This is your boy King Germ, one half of Pod and Saved Our Marriage. Each and every Friday, Queen Germ and myself drop an episode to show the people how Pod and Saved Our Marriage. Now, we're not like most married couples. Most of the time we disagree, but that's the beauty of the show. So, when you get through listening to Sparrows on the Review, come give us a listen. Each and every Friday on any DSP, go look for Pod and Saved Our Marriage.
Thank you for that. So, one of them days is one of them movies that I found on TikTok. Where did you find it?
Interestingly enough, why do I sound so distinguished today? Because the light shining in my eyes and we're in New Jersey. So anyway, actually, I seen it as one of the previews when we were out watching movies in Florida.
Okay.
Because we watched quite a few movies.
We did.
And it came on, and you was like, I want to watch that. And then I put it in the back of my head. I didn't remember the name of the movie. I only knew it because of two of the actresses that are in this movie.
Right. I don't know the second. Oh, yeah, I mean, I guess I do, but seeing her in a movie, it didn't make me realize who that was. I know the name, but I didn't realize.
And Katt Williams was in this joint.
Right?
Right. So with Katt Williams, is it a little too loud, do you think?
No, I don't think it's too loud, but my microphone keeps cutting in and out, and that's not my voice; it's the microphone.
Huh. I wonder.
But you can listen to it and edit, and if it doesn't, we've just got to get new chords.
All right. Because I see something different going on. And I think that what I noticed, just, because we talk technical and we're on our show, so we don't edit our show except for certain things, and we auto level it so that it sounds good in different things. But I think it's the actual position because I had to bring my microphone up.
Mine is not much different than yours, and it doesn't matter the position of my microphone. It's been doing it like the last 10 times we've recorded.
But I've used different microphones and different cords.
Maybe it doesn't like me anymore.
Okay.
Like it's not the position. It's not any of that stuff. I don't know.
All right, well, we'll work on that in a test episode later on West Virginia Commonplace. Anyway, this movie right here, it is a movie that's directed by Syreeta Singleton. And let me look up her real fast because I want to make sure she's not who I think she is. And
so, anyways, while you're looking that up, the two people we were talking about was Keke Palmer and SZA. Now, I recognize Keke Palmer from her look. And then SZA from her name. Like, I don't watch music videos or anything like that. Hardly ever. So I didn't recognize who SZA was as like a person just by her name.
Okay. And I can go with that too because like I know and everybody that knows anything about Keke Palmer, I remember her from her first movie that I remember, Akilah the Bee, where she was like the spelling bee girl.
Oh, okay.
That's how I always remember her. Anything else she's done in life, I mean, she's done whatever, and then she had that little incident with Usher, so that's really where it draws the line for me there. Very interesting production on this. TriStar Movies and Hoorah Media produced this film under the umbrella of Sony. So shout out to Sony, because y'all are always out there helping everybody with films. I swear I think more stuff I see comes from out of Sony than anywhere else, from Craven to whatever else.
Okay.
Not a long runtime on this movie, 97 minutes, something you can sit down and watch and then get out of. Little bit of a viewing quality issues on my part, and they were taken care of afterwards. Overall, fairly good movie. I know you go and talk statistical numbers, so I'll let you go ahead and do that.
I mean, I don't do any of that until the end after we stop talking about the movie.
Okay, well, let's go into this movie. Basically, there's a waitress, which is played by Keke Palmer, and her friend, whose name is Alyssa, which is wild, because you have a friend named Alyssa. Shout out to Mr. Pickles, Tommy. And either way, going forward.
And Taylor.
And Victor. Oh, Victor.
Anyways.
Oh, Victor.
So in this movie, they are in a predominantly black neighborhood. So, and that is very important, a very important part of the movie. So in the beginning of the movie, they're talking about how they have a white woman moving into the neighborhood. And everybody's like, oh no, we got this white lady coming in. And they kind of like treat her like, I don't know, kind of treat her like anthrax. You know, we don't want nothing to do with you. And she tries to invite them to have like a little party and everything at first. I think that's a funny take on it.
Yeah, it is.
It entertained me. I think the whole movie was just funniness, and you know, could be some relatability depending on what area you live in. Of course, where I grew up, we didn't experience any of this type of thing because it was predominantly white people.
Right. And the thing is, we'll say this is set off in some type of Los Angeles type area. That's one thing I could pick up from it from the get-go. And I like the whole idea of the payday loan.
Yeah.
The payday loan place, or the place you can get a check. You know, your credit don't have to be that great, but we're going to take you for house and home. And that's what they normally do to people in real life.
Right. And it was like 1,900% or something like that. It was a crazy amount. But once you think about it, like, yeah, it was making fun of cash loan places, but it's also real.
Right.
Because it's like once you do the first deferred payment, or let me take a loan, or let me do a credit card or something like that, once you make that choice to go down that road, if you were already struggling, it's that much harder to get caught up and to stay caught up.
Because if you didn't have the money, like Katt Williams said,
right?
Today,
if you ain't got the money this month, you're not gonna have the money next month.
And Katt Williams in this movie, I thank the Lord for having him in this movie for one simple fact. He went very viral with Shannon Sharp this year.
Okay.
And I'm talking about all that stuff before everything happened, like he predicted the Diddy's thing and all that other stuff, which we won't bring up all that stuff. But he's
too late. You just did.
He prophesized a lot of different things. And he prophesized what would happen to them because he told them what happened to him.
Right. You mean you won't go into details about the stuff that happened. See what I mean there?
Yeah. And to me, it's odd. It seems like in this whole thing, like the character that Katt Williams was portraying, he was just trying to like help them out. He wanted them to know, no, don't do this. And the way that they...
because he said that he had went through that before, and that's how he became homeless, is because he didn't have the money to pay it back. So now he's homeless and just sits out in front of the store and tries to help people out as much as he can with it.
And with a name like Lucky, you know,
right.
Obviously,
Lucky.
It was wild, and that was one of the things that were in there in the movie that was pretty good. Then you have the douchey ass boyfriend to Alyssa, like Victor, and and either way. Keyshawn in this movie, he's a player, and he's messing with a bad bitch, and I did say that, and I'm not saying that in any way to get me in any trouble for anybody. I'm just saying he messed with a girl named
Bernice.
Yeah, Bernice dropped it like it was hot in this movie, and Bernice did not play. Everybody just thought that she was she was a slouch in the streets, and she was not a slouch in the streets.
No, I think everybody was kind of afraid of Bernice, because they knew she would drop that ass.
And she literally did.
So basically, in the beginning of the movie, well, let's just say Keyshawn stole their money. I mean, let's just call it what it is. And because dumbass Alyssa gave the money to Keyshawn to pay the rent, and Keyshawn didn't pay the rent. He decided to do his own business with t-shirts.
Some fake ass Gucci shirts.
Yeah.
Like, look, motherfucker, you knew them shits wasn't real. I mean, come on.
Right. Yeah.
How many people in real life have actually held Gucci beyond perfume?
Mm.
Anyway, not here nor there.
I mean, especially in the area that they were living in.
Right. Because what would make you even want anything like that?
Right. But also, let's throw this out there. Their apartment was like destroyed. Like every time you slammed the door, the ceiling fell down. Their air conditioner didn't work. This and that didn't work. So it was basically a rundown apartment. And that was the whole thing whenever the white lady showed up. They're like, oh no, a white lady wouldn't live here because it's too run down. And we'll talk about the rest of that part a little bit further on in the show. So I think right now is a good time to say, if you haven't watched it, go watch it before you finish listening to this, unless you like spoilers.
Yeah. And one thing I want to add in here is they have a shitty landlord. He is a scum lord. And he's of African descent. So you see certain stereotypes that they play into like those like any type of landlord that's a scumbag. And the landlord lives up to that. But one thing I want to say about Keyshawn is the typical bum. He had millions of pairs of tennis.
What's the term that you use for it? Hobosexual?
Yeah, he's a hobosexual. Homie had every pair of Nike Dunks.
Yep.
Like, I don't know what the obsession is with people in Nike Dunks, but please, I wear Air Maxes and stuff.
I mean, it's kind of like your obsession with video games. You picked that to be obsessive with, and we almost have a whole complete Nintendo Switch collection. Not to mention the Xbox collection that you have. So everybody could look at you and be like, why the hell do you have a damn Xbox obsession? You could be Team PlayStation, but you choose to be Team Xbox. King Germ.
Xbox people are normal people. PlayStation people be wilding out and be ready to fight every time they go somewhere. They're volatile people. They can be at Super Bowl parades ready to fight.
Listen, I just do what I gotta do.
Knocking people down, running hose into walls. I didn't knock
anybody down, and I didn't run anybody into a wall. I just blocked some bitch from getting into the hole that was in front of me.
Okay. That's gangster. That should be for one of the Patreon episodes. But
head on over and subscribe to Patreon. We have a tier at $5 a month. As of right now, we only have 3 episodes, but they are some juicy 3 episodes.
No doubt, and we'll have another one over there.
Well,
very
that's
soon.
what I'm including, the 3rd one right now.
Yeah,
that we're gonna do after this.
Yeah. So, Keke Palmer in this. She's a waitress, Miss Jones. She works at a nice little diner. She takes care of things. She's living her best life. And, with her friend messing up the rent, $1,500 is a lot of money.
Right. Because it's the 1st of the month, rent is due, and the landlord's basically like, you have until this time to pay me my rent. And then she has an interview also that is 2 hours before. What was it? Her interview was at 4. And the money was due at 6?
Yes.
Is that something like that? So she needed to get ready, but they needed to figure out how to get a loan, and events happen and all of that crap. The interview goes really well, but then it gets blown up because the events that all relates to Keyshawn.
Yeah, Keyshawn is
Keyshawn is
the antagonist.
Well, he's the poison.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that this wouldn't have... Actually, yes, I am. This wouldn't have happened if they wouldn't have fucked with a man.
Yeah, with Keyshawn's toxic ass. Yeah. And one thing I would do want to put in here for car enthusiasts, they had a Ford Escort. And because of Alyssa's ideas of not thinking about where she's parking, they lose their car in between. So they lost their transportation too.
Even though Drew goes, Alyssa, you can't park there. She's like, come on, we're going anyways. And they get their car towed. But then you got to, Drew's love interest.
Maniac.
Yep. And we can't explain a whole lot about that. We got to keep it at that. He has a vehicle, and he does pick them up and gives Drew a ride.
Gets him something to eat.
Yes. And an axe comes out from underneath the seat.
And that's when things could get a little spooky.
Yep. And then from there, I highly encourage you to go watch the movie, because you need to find out more about what is his name? Just Maniac?
Yeah, Maniac.
Okay. I didn't know if he had like a real name or anything. Maybe that's just what they call him in the show.
Right. And then the movie does take some dynamic twists and turns that we won't go into because
It
it'll spoil the movie. Because remember, this is a short movie. So one thing I want to highlight here at the beginning of the year, this is like, because we know I've been going through animation spiels of movies. This is actually a brand new 2025 movie. So I want to say, as of right now, this is my 2025 movie for the first quarter of the year.
Okay.
And that's barring going to see Captain America, which I probably won't. But for everything that goes on in this movie, it's a feel-good movie with comedy. And
Remember, you can't turn your head to talk.
oh yeah, I can't turn my head and talk.
Gosh.
So what I would say is this is a movie that you should go see, or you, however you attain it, you know. Definitely take the time and go see it. It's a comedy. It's something that you can watch with other adults, and kids can watch it to a degree if they're mature enough for the subject matters.
But that's all your preference.
Right.
And whether you want your child to watch something or not, that's up to you.
Is this movie a classic? By no means.
Will I watch it again? Yeah.
Yeah, would I watch this in some gatherings? Like, this would be my entertainment movie. If we're doing something with Sometime Cinema, or we're coming to your area, I'm going to have a license to the movie, and this is what we're going to watch.
Right.
Because you're going to laugh.
Right.
And you're going to get mad.
Right.
And you're going to think about something in your past, because we've all had somebody do something in some veins. So everything that's happened in this movie has happened to somebody. It doesn't matter where you lived, and somewhere you've loaned somebody money or something, they didn't pay you back, and then you had to run up on them like CJ from San Andreas.
Right. And I feel like you can be any race and enjoy the show.
Right.
Like, it's not only made for people of color.
Right.
Because obviously I'm a white person and I enjoyed it. And I loved how they threw in the part about the lady moving in and she had a dog.
Yeah.
Like, I love that part because it's like, oh, yeah.
It was kind of stereotypical.
Yep.
They're like, every white person has a dog.
And I love that part, though.
And that's what I like, that it's that humor, that good fun, that it's not going to hurt you type movie. Let's go out here and have fun, and let's have punches thrown, and let's laugh at our differences, but let's laugh at them in a good way.
Right. And then they also kind of throw in a little bit of the gangster stuff.
Yes.
So I liked how they incorporated that, and they incorporated it very tastefully, I think. Because if anybody knows anything about Nikes and the reason they are thrown up on telephone poles, you might enjoy this movie.
Right.
I mean, even if you don't understand it, it's still a funny part in the movie, and it makes the entertainment worth it.
Right. No doubt in that.
Yeah. And then it's kind of funny. You have Alyssa, and it's like, she's a dingbat.
No doubt.
It's like, listen, bitch. Get your shit together. This is how it's going to happen. And take accountability for your actions. But you know that you can do this, and you're a beast ass. So do what you're good at.
So
and
true.
It takes the entire movie to figure it out.
Yeah, and where she articulates on certain things where we don't catch the things that she catches them, it shows that she has a certain brilliance to her. Yes, a certain type of brilliance to her.
She's stupid when it comes to men.
Yes.
But when it comes to certain things, she's like, oh, shit.
I mean, but you seen how Keyshawn was rocking in them streets.
I mean, he did have on was it the gray pants or just the gray underwear?
The gray draws.
The gray draws. I mean, I can see why Alyssa stuck around.
For as long as she did.
Yeah. But it's time to cut the cord.
Right, on this one. So on that note, I'm JR.
Hold on.
Oh.
You didn't even let me go. So you wanted to talk about box office and budget.
Yeah, go ahead.
Their budget was $14 million. Box office, $40.7 million.
And that's good for a movie that only stayed in theaters. I mean, it's still in theaters right now as we speak, which is, I think, came out January 15th, I believe, and we're looking at February 15th today? Or it came out the 17th or something like that. But
something like that, yeah. The 17th of January, so a month.
Right, so that's a good drawing for it's not an independent movie, but I mean, it's not a box office movie. It wasn't going to do numbers like Mufasa or anything.
Right. Well, because that's what they said. The first theatrical R-rated female black comedy since Girls Trip in 2017. It debuted to $11.8 million in its opening weekend, finishing second behind Mufasa. Yep, and then it says something about it in its fifth weekend, and then upsetting Wolfman.
Yeah, Wolfman's another one that we might watch.
Maybe. And then it said it grossed $8 million in its second weekend, and it adds more stuff. And of course, like always, we get this information from Wikipedia, so it is current and up to date at the time of the recording. they did only give it an A minus, which is probably makes sense because there are parts of it they could have done better. Certain parts maybe could have been explained a little bit better or drawn out or shortened up or something. So, I mean, I'm not disappointed with an A minus review. Let's see here. What else do we got? One person you didn't mention, Mr. Lil Rel Howery. Did you notice him in the movie?
No.
I remember I said TSA.
Where was he at?
He was the little short dude. It says the buyer. Oh, wasn't he the dude that bought the shoes?
Oh hell yeah!
Remember, I'm like, oh, there's TSA.
And he gave her a fake ass story. You got shits for the low.
Well, she gave him a fake ass story, and then he played off of it. And she's like, okay, but they didn't drop down too much.
Right. So that was a good deal there.
Let's see. Anybody else you realize?
I think that
Janelle James. Like, she's from Abbott Elementary. I don't know if you've seen that or not.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Okay. Who else we got? I don't even know.
It's a diverse cast.
Right. But I liked it. So, again, if I haven't said it enough times during this podcast, go watch this movie. Let us know what you think of it. We do have a Facebook, so head on over and follow our group there. And then also on TikTok, if you could help us build up those two groups, we would greatly appreciate it. I'm Stacy.
And I'm JR.